So we still can't tell what month it is. Seems like a mix of May and June now. Got day 2, day 3. But here's where things get interesting. I give up. I don't know what month this is anymore. Is it May? Is it September? Is it March? What are we doing here? Morning, YouTube. Tired Metalhead Weatherman. Pinched on time because I still have to work even though there's thunder and lightning outside. Thank my boss for being dumb. Anyway, so I don't know if you saw in the preview, but still plenty more severe weather to go. And later down the line here towards the end of the week, I'm thinking that the threat is actually going to increase a bit more. Interestingly enough, though, I'm only going to be talking about Monday and Tuesday because those are the ones that have slight risk on them right now. So what we're going to do is just pretty much move this forward here. We're going to start out by looking at HRRR in the wind pattern. So there could be a little bit more severe weather towards the Gulf this evening, but I think the most favorable threat was more so going to be in the morning as of right now. This probably has changed a bit since last night, and I haven't had a chance to look because I pretty much went to sleep at like 2 o'clock. It's almost 7. Really, if it wasn't for the late start at work, I'd probably be screwed. But yeah, this is what we're looking at right now. As we get into Tuesday, start to see a weak trough beginning to take shape here. Actually, the winds are decently strong, but the ejection happens further to the north. Canada may actually have some severe weather in store, possibly. Can't really look at that with the HRRR, unfortunately, so not able to specify whether that is the case or not. Nonetheless, though, we do get this little pocket over here where we could see some severe potential towards the eastern flank of this trough here. Do have a marginal tornado threat. There is some contamination with this sounding here, so I'm not putting too much stock into it. But given the other parameters here, I wouldn't be surprised to see at least some severe weather. And the parameters are there existing even through the mid and lower level parts of the trough here. We'll go to 700 millibars. This is where our shortwave setups tend to be. And when we look through today, for example, we do see a little something that pops up here, but nothing impressive. I'm not too sold on this producing a lot of severe weather. It more so would probably be on the minimal side. I could see potential for maybe a northern plains setup today, but again, nothing really concrete, nothing really stands out to me right now. This easily could change though, so take what I'm saying right now more so with a grain of salt. So as we get into Tuesday, we're looking more so towards OOZ. Shortwave is there, but I think the timing could very well be off a little bit, and this could limit severe weather. I think this is going to be a very narrow corridor. It's well indicated by the SPC, and I don't think we're going to have this expanding too much. It's questionable to see how intense these storms still could get, though, as a result. Look into the low-level jet. It's pretty much a similar deal. It's not too much going on in the southeast as we head late into the evening. There could be a couple of pole severe storms. I think, like I said, I think the slight risk was more so for this morning's threat. As we go into the afternoon, like I said, timing is really the key factor with this setup. There is a decent bit of low-level jet energy here. We're up to about maybe 35. Some pockets of maybe 40 knots are possible. Sufficient enough, but I think with other parameters in play, it's still going to keep this area relatively isolated. When we go to dew points here, we do get good moisture returns even this far north over towards South Dakota, North Dakota here. Like this is, okay, make sure I got the time frame in there. But this is around the afternoon today. There's a chance of storms firing over here. It's a marginal risk, but we get some really good numbers as we head into the evening hours here. We even get a few 70s. This is looking like it's actually corn sweat from Iowa working its way this far north. So, if you don't know, corn sweat, you can get increased dew points from the corn. The corn actually does perspirate, and it can get high enough into the air where it can help increase the chance of thunderstorm development. So, while it's not the Gulf of Mexico, it can still cause its own problems. So, be watchful of the corn stalks sometimes. So as time goes on here, it's a pretty similar deal. That moisture return actually goes as far north as north of the border here, which is crazy to see. But as we go into the day tomorrow, it stretches back down into North Dakota and even hangs on the North Dakota-Minnesota border here. So it's going to have to be something that we're watching really close as we get into the evening tomorrow. The slight risk definitely seems valid. Do I see a chance for upgrade? Because I was asked this at one point during the live stream last night. Still not sure. I'm kind of leaning towards no, but again, like I said, plenty of model data, plenty of model updates come in through the day, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on it, and that's all I can really say there. The Cape values are actually really impressive with these setups tomorrow. So here's tonight's setup. Pretty limited. No surprises there. But look what happens tomorrow. We get a nice little area of 2,000 plus joules per kilogram on mixed layer. So in reality, this setup is more than sufficient for severe weather. Storms could fire probably at about 3 or 4 o'clock Central Time, maybe even. I don't know if I'd be able to cover it if it happens, because depending on how my work day goes. But if it does happen, I'm going to try my best to go live and cover it. Wednesday, it looks like we start to see the western high plains involved in a setup, so we'll have to watch that, but we'll probably cover that later today. I would try to cover the tropics right now, but I'm pretty much out of time here. It's going to be a rough edit on this video, and we're just going to have to go from there. So I apologize to anyone if this video seemed a little rushed, a little sloppy, but last thing to look at here is what the radar could look like. This is composite reflectivity here. Here's where our storms are currently. Oops, backwards. And really, there's not much that refires. Far towards the Gulf Coast is where we could expect some severe weather to develop. Not a whole lot really going on in the center of the country, which I'm a little bit surprised by. But nonetheless, we'll look at Tuesday, and then we can clearly see, almost looks like a line of thunderstorms begins to develop here. This could be a little bit of a squall line here, maybe some embedded supercells involved as well. But interesting is what's interesting to note here is the storm vector with it moving off to the northeast. It's mainly going to be a really isolated event because of that personally. Not necessarily because there's not enough parameters in place, but the storm vector is going to keep the weather probably most contained to North Dakota. South Dakota could see action too. Maybe a small portion of far northwestern Minnesota could be in the action. But for the most part, it's not looking like it's going to be a widespread severe event. We will have to watch Wednesday, of course, towards the western plains. And as of right now, there's no severe weather risk here, but I do see some potential there, depending on how parameters persist throughout the day Wednesday. But this is all I got for you guys. I'm going to hurry up and get the heck out of here. This has been Tyler Metalhead Weatherman. I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a good night and take care, or a good morning, good day, and take care.